Hi.
Hi there.
This is
I called a couple of minutes early.
Oh, that's okay. This is my first Google Hangout ever.
Oh my goodness. I was wondering if that would be the case, so I thought this is a really good time to introduce you to it.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much for holding this interview with me.
Oh, no worries. Google Hangouts are so good to have for talking to colleagues at school when you're all in your own classroom and you have kids there and you just Google Hangout, and parents who work late and can't get to your classroom, you just Google Hangout with them. There's a fear curve with them where you'll have to, like for you probably thought, how's this going to work and all that sort of stuff. So you kind of have to hold their hand through it. But Google Hangouts are game changers.
I love it. I love it. It could really help out with conferences when they can't make it. So great.
Oh, is that true? And with the Google Hangout on air, not even necessary. You can actually have a child who's home with a broken leg or something, can't get to school, have them just call into the class through your email address, and you turn the monitor around, he can face the screen or classmates or whatever, and he's part of the class then.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. Great. Thanks for the tip. Yes.
So how are you?
I've had a rough day. I've had a rough week.
Oh, geez,
so this is my downtime.
Oh, yeah. What's going on?
Oh, just we had to have my dog fixed this week, and he's having some complications. So, and the kids aren't home, so I'm devastated to tell them. So we'll figure that out, and just doctor's appointments with grandparents, and then my car broke down yesterday. I'm just
Oh my goodness.
I know. So this is my time. This is my relaxation time because it's something that I'm passionate about. So
That's nice. That's nice. I know what you mean. Lucky you're so young because you can just handle all of this stuff for that.
It's taking me a little bit more as I go along with my age here. I'm approaching 43 next month, and I'm slowing down.
Oh my goodness, you look 23.
Oh, well, bless you. You just made my day.
That's nice. Oh boy.
Summer vacation will do that to you though, right?
Yeah, it does. It relaxes you and you feel like, okay, nothing matters.
So I think I told you in my email, I'm not sure, I'm a first grade teacher. I've been teaching 18 years, and I just enrolled this last semester in the spring in the Ed Tech Master's program at Fresno Pacific. So
Excellent.
I'm a little overwhelmed because in my little domain at school in first grade, I've been doing things like I've been doing them for years. I started with the one-to-one pilot program with the iPads in the last 3 years, so I've really been enjoying those. But we were just given a cart of Chromebooks, the Chromebook tablets, for this next school year. So I really feel like now is the time for me to step it up and really take the plunge. And so I just have lots of questions, and I've been following Ask a Teacher, and I love it. I go there a lot for a lot of things that I'm thinking about and clueless about. So, and we had to come and have an interview with the Connected Educator. I was tickled when you said yes. So
these are fun because I should have warned you. I get a chance to pick your brain about what they're teaching you.
Oh, great.
Technology, how they're telling you to put technology in education. Because like you, I talk to my group of people and I kind of hear what I hear, but you're going to be outside of that. You're at the start where they're saying this is the best way. These are best practices for it. So I'm very curious to hear what they say.
What I'm really loving is they're not really teaching us anything. They're having us kind of take the driver's seat and explore, and then we use the forums and we talk and we have discussions and comment on what each other is finding out. So we have access to each other in the program, and we're really learning from each other, kind of like what we're trying to do in the classroom with the children.
Exactly. So that's really nice. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, it's really fun. This course that I'm in right now is connecting on the web. And so I had to make my own Twitter account. I've been running our school's Twitter account for over a year now, but I was not ready to make my own and get myself out there. And we had to make a blog. And so I'm really stepping outside of what I've normally been doing, but I'm loving it.
Good. Yeah, Twitter is for your professional learning. You can set up the Twitter stream to be personal things like my dog's sick or my kids are on vacation, or you can make it professional.
Right.
I'm working on these things in my first grade classroom. Anyone have ideas? And I recommend separating the two. So you have one for personal, one for professional. And then you will be amazed at the information you get from colleagues, just like you're getting in your class.
Right.
Where you're talking through things. That works on Twitter too, as long as you don't mush it up with the personal stuff.
Right.
And nothing wrong with personal stuff, but it's not why they go there.
Right,
so,
right.
Different.
Well, I participated in my first chat, and I was so nervous because it goes so fast.
It does.
But there was a lot, like you said, there was a lot of information I was taking in from what everybody else was posting, and really fun. I could see that high schoolers really enjoying those too. My son is in high school, and I could see them if they took that plunge and him benefiting from that.
I can imagine. Yes, they would. And I am on some Twitter forums where they have high school classes come in and join because we're discussing a digital citizenship topic.
Right.
And they have really valuable insights from their perspective.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I'll be listening to what he's doing, although he never shares anything. You know, when he comes home every day and I ask, what'd you do? Nothing.
Of course.
So, well, I know your time is precious. I don't want to take too much of it so I can get started. And then anything you want to add, I would love to hear anything you want to share.
Okay.
So my first question, which is the one that's really, somebody had approached me with the concern about penmanship, because she is in the liberal studies program, just starting off with her teaching credential, or teaching her bachelor's. And so she had asked me the question about penmanship. So what are your thoughts regarding the shift away from practicing penmanship in the primary classroom and using more keyboarding, which I saw you tweeted about keyboarding just yesterday or today?
Well, I'm a big believer in keyboarding, even at the expense of handwriting, of penmanship. But I'll tell you, usually when people, and a lot of people have exactly that concern you brought up. Mm-hmm. So really, what do kids use handwriting for anymore? And it does get down to signing checks. And I'll tell you, my kids who are 20-somethings don't sign checks.
Right.
It gets down to quick notes, and okay, we have digital note-taking for that now. It gets down to they really don't know what the kids will use handwriting for. It seems like an obvious question. Of course you have to learn handwriting, but why? And then it gets down to there's a lot of research that shows excellent connection between handwriting and memory and learning. And that it is valid, it is true. But that doesn't mean it wouldn't happen with keyboarding. It's the idea of going from hand to brain, or eyes to paper, or, you know, that double thing where you hear, you listen, you write, and all those different media help you learn better. So to me, I think that's the reason that the studies show handwriting is so valuable to learning. And I think given the same circumstances, keyboarding would step in and fill that in. So truly, I kind of think it's just run its course. It's like buggy whips. It's the kids struggle so hard to learn handwriting, but by third grade, they should be taking digital notes. And you now have one-to-one Chromebooks. They should take their notes on Chromebooks with Keep or the note icon or whatever you decide to use for note-taking. Notability is a real popular one with Chrome.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, there's really good, and they've got their notebook there. They take the notes that way, and then they have them. They're not looking for that paper they took the note on.
Right.
So I think, what do they tell you? Why do they think it's so important to hang on to handwriting?
Well, myself included, some of us are just very concerned. We want to promote the fine motor skill development. But so this last year, I've been incorporating more of the digital note-taking. So we were using a lot of Play-Doh, a lot of Lego time, a lot of just engineering so that they can work on those fine motor skills. But I just wasn't sure if I was on the right path. And as a mother of 3 boys, who 2 of them, their handwriting is just atrocious, it's very comforting to know that maybe they'll have this option. They haven't so far, unfortunately, but our district is, I mean, they're making some amazing gains. So I'm hopeful that they too will have Chromebooks in most of their classrooms. So 2 of them are in middle school, so.
And kids who struggle with writing dysgraphia, those type of kids, and my son was one, they should be allowed to use computers. And so they're setting the trend, and they should be allowed to use them, because otherwise every time they have to take notes, it's a negative experience for them.
Right.
So but the problem with it is, as a parent, you don't know if you want to end it into IEPs and put that on their record and those types of things. It's a big decision.
Yeah.
So I would just much prefer having schools offer it. Say, anyone who wants to use a computer, use one.
Right. And I would even provide one for them if that was an option.
Exactly. Especially Chromebooks, they're so affordable.
Yes.
So.
And I love these ones that they just gave us, their tablets and their touch screen, and I could see the kids they're portable. There's so much you could do with them.
You can take notes on those. If you got the touch screen ones, there's apps that'll let you just take your note right there.
And then they can practice that penmanship for those teachers.
That's right.
Who really can't let go.
So that's my thinking on that one.
Okay, well, thank you. Very valid points. Okay, next, describe an ideal classroom seating and workspace arrangement. What type of chairs and desks would you use?
Well, education has changed a lot since I was in school, and even when you were. It's now about collaborating and sharing. It's about kids sharing their knowledge. It's about all of us, like you're doing in your college class. We're all learning together. We're all learners. We want to be lifelong learners. So you model it in your classes. You find the joy of learning something and sharing and learning by teaching. And you have a project that is shared with everyone and kept for as long as you want, rather than put on the wall for a couple weeks and then pulled down and stuck in the back of a closet. So it's about collaborating and sharing. So I think the way you set up your classroom has to encourage that. Whether it's the round tables or whatever works. So I think what doesn't work so well anymore is the rows.
Right.
But I'm not even averse to those, because you still have people on both sides of you that you can work with. You can still, especially with Chromebooks where they're portable, you can pull your chairs together and do that. So really, whatever works in your learning environment for the mission of your school and your classroom, I think is fine.
Okay. I love the idea about the round tables.
Yeah.
I like
that. That's
really
what a lot of people do. And I've had them in my classroom, and I like them because it gives the feeling of collaborative. I think the better one is even the squares where there's not something in the middle. The round ones, they tend to put a bunch of stuff, the computers in the middle, and then you can't see over them to people.
Right.
But where you put the square tables together, and then that's a big work area in the middle, I think that's a really good way to do it.
Right.
And then with your Chromebooks or iPads, they'll just keep them right in front of them. They won't get in the way of communicating.
Right. Yeah, we use little pods, little configurations of 6 desks all facing, but I was thinking of turning them the opposite way so the little cubby, they don't have access to it, and give them those seat sacks, because hopefully we'll see the textbooks go bye-bye and we won't need to put those in the cubbies there and just have their devices.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Which devices do you feel are more appropriate for primary students? Again, I teach first grade, and now I'm going to have access to both. Which devices do you think are more appropriate?
I'm all over on that. I really believe what the kids are using at home is what you have to teach them. You can give them new devices too. If they have a desktop at home and you give them Chromebooks, I think that's perfectly fine. They're very adaptable. So I just don't know that it matters too much.
Okay.
They are very different. An iPad, and you didn't mention iPad, but iPads aren't computers. The ones you mentioned, tablets, laptops, desktops, those are all computers. So they're all basically going to be PCs or Macs. depending upon which version you pick.
Right.
So they're all going to deliver the same way. You might have the touch screen like you had, which is very cool for young kids. I love that. Right. Much more expensive, so it depends upon your school.
Right.
But you're talking, the group you mentioned is all computers. So I think those are good. Chromebooks aren't a computer. They're a different approach. So, but still they have a ton of value and a ton of utility.
Right.
I don't know. I think their pluses probably outweigh the computers, PCs and Macs, because of the great pluses you get with Chromebooks.
Right.
So I think it's, I do think iPads aren't so well suited for older grades, past third grade, because they are more focused on the visual. And by third grade, you want the kids getting more into reading and research and multitasking, which is hard to do on an iPad.
Right.
Printing, we don't really want to print anymore. Printing is very hard on an iPad, but you don't really want the kids printing anymore anyway. So I don't know. What do you think? What got you to ask that question about those three particular types?
Just because, well, I've been writing a lot of grants lately, and I'm not really sure where I wanted to focus my tech attention. But then we were presented with the option with these Chromebooks, and I think I'm pretty sold on them, especially with all of the access to the Google apps, and I'm pretty excited, especially in this class. They're just presenting us with so many options for the kids, and I have access to all of them with the Chromebook.
A little rearranging, but you can do most to do, especially with a little research. I had to rewrite my technology curriculum. For K through 8, I have the technology curriculum for K to 8. And I rewrote it, just came out this year, the 6th of iPads or computers, tablets, laptops, PCs, whatever you use. And it took a little bit of work, but they all worked. I think that's what comes out. Things like Google Earth, which is software, or any software you can't download. So if you have favorite software, which most teachers do, especially younger grade teachers, they do, Kid Picks, you can't download